Hi guys, here's something for all you magicians out there. If you're not a magician, you're probably going to find this video a little bit boring and you probably want to move on to something a little bit more interesting. But if you are a magician, hobbyist, then you'll find this quite useful. Within the world of magic, we use a thing called R&S, the rough and smooth principle. Now, for those of you magicians that are new to the game, you may have come across rough and smooth in some packet effects and card decks, Brainwave deck, invisible deck, those sort use the rough and smooth principle. But just to recap, the idea is that you can show cards very freely to be one thing when in fact when you take a card, if I took a card off and spread it, you'll see that it's actually two cards, because the roughing fluid is placed on the faces. So in this case, this is placed on the face and the back, and when these are together, if I put pressure, I can't slide those two cards apart. But if I do less pressure, they come apart on there. Now, that's the idea behind it. As I said, you can come up with some great routines. There's been books written about this. In terms of the roughing fluid, well, that's been around for years, and I was trying to do some research on when it started. But the earliest I found, I've got a book that was first published in 1918 called Practical Magic, and in that book they talk about card grip, which is probably a better description, because I often say the cards stick together. You don't actually want them to stick together, you want them to grip. And this was called a card gripper principle, and they were using all types of ways of doing this. They used some sort of chemical that I've never heard of before, but it did the same thing. It allowed the cards to grip. Now, at the moment, from most magic dealers, you can buy the stick, you can buy the little tubs of fluid, some creams, some powders, sprays, a whole host of these. As I said, if you read up on this, early days people used to use lemon. They used to use the roughing powder that you have when you're doing weightlifting to grip. They also used sugar, put it in warm water to dissolve it, and then they used to spread that on the cards to give that grip on there. And there's a whole host of things out there. But one thing that I've discovered is that a lot of the sprays that most people talk about in the magic fraternity on the forums, we can't get that very easily in the UK. Crayon, clear spray, and there's a couple of others they mention. And the other, about 6 months ago, I had this kicking around. It's called an inkjet fix. Now it comes in gloss, matte and satin. This one is a satin one, and this is what I use to spray on the cards. And I've found this is great. These were done probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and just a bit of pressure, you can see they're great. And when I take a card and just put a little bit of pressure on those, they grip, but if I release the pressure, they just spread apart like that. I spray the cards using this, just a very light spray. When you do spray this, don't hold it too close, because the pressure that comes out tends to blow the cards all over the place, as you can see in the video that I've got. So you can hold it quite a way up and spray it. You only need a fine mist on the cards, and in this particular instance I sprayed the face and the back because that's what I wanted to grip on there. But check this out, you can pick this up for around £10 here in the UK on auction sites. It's very great. I've not used the matte, that might even be better, but this is satin and it works really well. It hasn't discoloured at all, and just a light spray. And I've still got half a can in here, and I've done probably about 15, 18 packs of cards with this so far, so it's well worth the money when you break it down like that. But that will create a great roughing fluid type mix. Now of course you could experiment of how you do this. I know that some people, instead of spraying the entire back, they maybe spray just the top half. They put a bit of cardboard over here and then just spray the top half, or sometimes just this half. If you sprayed it just on one half, then of course it might make it easier that when you grip those, they will slip apart easier. Whereas if you're gripping this side, it will grip harder. That's up to you. I think if you experiment, get an old pack of cards before you throw them out, do some spraying and try them out. See which one works best. And once you've worked out which suits your performances better, stick to that, and there it is there. Check that out. I think it's great.